Youth in conflict, moving towards implementing the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250. Why is it important to think about youth in conflict? Although definitions of youth vary, today's generation of young people is the largest the world has ever known. There are currently 1.2 billion young people aged 15 to 24, representing 18% of the world's population. More than 600 million young people live in fragile and conflict-affected areas. Although the youth itself is very vulnerable to violence and sometimes even involved in it, young people can be an agent for peace. Excluding young people from peace-building processes bears the risk of incomplete and short-lived peace. What roles do young people have in the context of armed conflict? Young people in the context of armed conflict can be perpetrators, victims, and agents. Firstly, perpetrators of violence. In most cases, young men, and to a lesser degree women, make up the majority of combatants and perpetrators of violence. Many conditions contribute to violent armed conflict. Among them, resources, protection of social status, and grievances such as social, economic, and political exclusion, and lack of opportunities. However, there's little information on why some young people become perpetrators, while the majority do not. It is important to understand the different interrelated factors, like recruitment and socialization processes, which draw young people to violence. This is crucial in order to prevent the direct participation of young men and women in violent activities. Secondly, victims. Young people often suffer most from armed conflicts. They are the ones having to live the longest with the consequences of war. Often, adolescents are at risk to be forcefully recruited into militias, thereby experiencing mental trauma, sexual abuse, and the loss of educational and economic opportunities. The majority of casualties in lethal armed violence worldwide are young men aged 15 to 29. Women, however, represent a disproportionate number of victims of physical and sexual abuse, both in times of peace and in times of violent conflict. Thirdly, agents. Young women and men can and do play active roles as agents of positive and constructive change. Youth-owned programs can provide basic services, such as promoting dialogue and reconciliation, increases the economic and political participation of young people, engaging them in advocacy to bring change. We need to acknowledge young people's positive potential and invest in supporting the next generation to contribute to peaceful societies. What is the international community doing for youth in conflict? Recognizing this potential role of young people in transforming conflicts, over the past years, youth organizations across the world have advocated for a stronger inclusion of youth in peace and security decision-making. In December 2015, the United Nations Security Council passed Resolution 2250, setting a new international framework for the role of youth in conflict. The key provisions of the resolution call for participation of youth in decision-making, protection of young people in conflict, prevention of youth engagement in violence, opportunities for young people to disengage from violence, for partnerships to support the work with young peace builders by governments and organizations. How to promote the implementation. Resolution 2250 marks a milestone. The challenge ahead is to implement the resolution and ensure that young people have more than just a say on paper. There are many ways to enhancing the role of young people. Member states and other actors should develop action plans to mainstream the provisions of Resolution 2250. Diplomatic backing for youth initiatives and the integration of youth in international settings should increase. The inclusion of youth in peace processes should be promoted. An UN youth entity should be established. Foster the exchange between established civil society and young people. advance comprehensive peace education projects for young people, increased funding for small, youth-owned local projects, and much more. To sum it up, key decision makers need to open up to young women and men, take them seriously as strong agents, and support them with necessary resources and capacities. Your willpower to change will contribute to peace. So don't wait for tomorrow. Get involved, because this is about your future.